military in general is important because it protects America, keeps us what we are, keeps us all safe, keeps us free.
It's very important because freedom is not free. It comes at a very large price, and anybody who sacrifices their time is making the ultimate sacrifice to our country.
It gives us our freedom to go out and live our daily lives and not have to worry about, you know, other countries harming us or like anything else. Like, it just, I love it.
I think the military is important because they risk their lives every day fighting for us, not knowing if they're gonna come home or not to their family.
They give up their lives to protect the others.
To make the world a better place and keep us safe.
Obviously to protect the people and to protect the ideology of America.
They go off to war, risk their lives for them and know, and come home to loving families.
Serving for your country is important because you just have the feeling of you know you're doing something right and that you know you might not come home, but you're there to protect your family and your friends and everybody else.
They protect our rights every day and give us the freedoms we have.
They keep our country safe.
We all think about it differently. You know, some think that it's just you're gonna go out and get killed, but other of us think, you know, it's what's right, what we have to do to protect ourselves as a nation and as a family for, you know, all of us to still be safe and have the comfortable lives that we have today.
Makes you feel like they're all like part of one big family. They all serve the same purpose to support how we are and what they stand for.
The military is important in our country because they're the ones who fight for our freedom and they are responsible for everything that we have in our country.
It gives us freedom, gives us protection.
Serving the military gives people a sense of pride, but it also lets them contribute to a greater cause.
I've seen firsthand how much of a sacrifice it is and how much veterans give up for our freedom. Their families sacrifice, they sacrifice time away from loved ones. Many of them pay the ultimate sacrifice with their lives, and I just want to say thank you. I think it's important to recognize, not just today, but every day, that this country wouldn't be the same. We'd be nothing without our veterans, without the people who serve and protect and fight for our freedoms.
Without a military, we wouldn't have what we have today, because freedom is one of those things that needs to be protected, and that can only be achieved by people willing to fight for it.
They leave not knowing if they'll come back.
I'm proud to have that legacy in my family.
They protect us and they're the reason that we can do all the things that we do today in our country.
Being in the military is kind of awesome because you get to serve for your family, friends, and basically everyone in America.
I feel like it's a source of pride because you help fight for our freedom.
We live in a country with freedoms like no other. Freedom is not free. It comes with a price, and people have fought and died for this country so we can have the privileges to be here, the privilege to vote, the privilege to speak our mind, the privilege to participate in one of the greatest democracies in the history of the world. And without those veterans that have given the ultimate sacrifice, and not just the ultimate sacrifice from the perspective that they've died, but the fact that they are willing to give up time with their families and to be far away from home is something that deserves and commands your respect. And I think that Americans at times forget how much that these individuals voluntarily sacrifice for the great nation that we live in today. And with that, I would like to say to all the veterans out there, thank you for your service.
Veterans Day is a very big and special day to us because I've had several family members serve in the Marines and the Army, and I thank them each and every day for keeping our country safe and making sure we have a place to rest our head at night.
My Uncle John was in the Army.
My great-uncle, Michael Franczek, he served in the Philippines during World War II, and he Japanese bombed his airfield. He was one of the only ones to survive the bombing.
My uncle named Nicholas Reese, he was a private in the military.
My grandpa was in the Army and my cousin is in the Air Force.
My grandpa served in Vietnam. My dad served in the Air Force and his whole family served in the Air Force.
My father was in the Marines.
My dad was in the Air Force for 26 years, and my brother joined the Navy last year.
My grandfather served during the Cuban Missile Crisis in the Navy.
My grandpa served in the military.
My uncle's active duty in the Air Force. My grandfather's retired Air Force. My other grandfather and my father were both in the Army.
My brother Gary, who is a chief in the Navy.
My sister is currently in the Army for military police.
My papa was a veteran and served in the Air Force. My aunt was a nurse inside the military and she took care of the wounded soldiers.
My aunt is in the Coast Guard and my grandpa was in the Navy.
My cousin's in the Army.
My grandpa and my great uncle were in the military.
My stepdad served in the Navy.
My cousin Curtis is deployed in Seattle right now in the Air Force.
My grandfather, he served in the Korean War.
My brother served in the Marines as a U.S. Embassy guard.
My great-grandfather, who was in World War I. I had a grandfather who was in World War II. I had an uncle who was in the Korean War, and one that was in Desert Storm.
My great-grandfather and grandmother served on the same exact naval vessel in World War II.
My brother serves in the Navy.
I want to thank both my grandfathers for the service to our country.
My grandpa was in the Air Force.
She has 3 kids and she doesn't get to see him that often because of what she's done for our country. My grandfather, who recently passed away, was a veteran of World War II, and I've also got active service members, which are my aunt and my uncle.
My grandpa and my stepdad were in the Navy, and my cousin's currently in the Air Force.
My grandpa was in the Air Force.
My brother served in the Army, and my uncle is currently serving in the Air Force, and he just got back from Italy.
My dad serves as a staff sergeant in the Marines, which I am very thankful for him and him risking his life to save our country.
My grandpa served in the Korean War in the Army.
My brother serves in the Air Force. He's part of a special ops team and he's getting deployed to Japan in a couple months here.
My brother and my dad served. Well, my brother's in boot camp right now. My dad served.
My great-grandfather, he served in World War I. He passed away of mustard gas. My grandpa, he served in World War II. My uncle in Vietnam. My brother-in-law, he's still enlisted now. He's still traveling around the country in the Air Force, Master Sergeant.
My father was in the Marine Corps, and he served in the Persian Gulf War for 4 years.
It makes me feel pretty proud, have someone in the military, he talks a lot about it, and I'm just really thankful that, he was able to come back.
My dad was in the Army, my grandpa was in the Navy, my uncle was in the Marines, a lot of family that served.
My grandpa, he was in the Marines, my uncle was a medic in Vietnam.
I am proud to know that my dad served in the military because it's an important part of our country's history.
My Uncle Dave's in the Marines.
I'm proud that my grandfather served in the Air Force as a weapons specialist.
My uncle served in Germany. Both of my uncles served in Germany.
My dad is retired, but he was in the Marines, and my grandpa was also in the Marines.
My older brother, Ralph Streb, is in the National Guard.
When I heard he left, when I watched him left, I was really upset. I cried a lot, and I just prayed to God he would come back.
My brother-in-law served in the military for a while, and he was in the military while my nephew was born, so it was really hard for him to be apart at that point in time.
It makes me feel proud that my family was able to serve in such an important time in our country's history.
My cousin Alex, he serves in the Air Force.
I'm really proud of my brother for what he's doing. He's taught me a lot.
My grandpa served in the Navy.
My cousin, Taryn Benata, she's deployed in the Middle East right now. She's in the Air Force.
My brother's in the Air Force and my dad's in the Army.
My grandpa served in the Army for 7 years as a helicopter mechanic.
My grandpa was in the Army in Vietnam.
It makes me feel proud of him. It makes me feel very happy that he served to make sure that we are free.
My uncle was a colonel in the Army.
My brother serving in the Navy passed away about a month ago. He was stationed in Lakeport, Florida.
To me,
Veterans Day is about honoring and giving recognition to all the men and women who have served in our country. And I just think it's important to do that. My dad has served in the military and in the Army for several years, and I have 7 great uncles who have served in the military as well and have just served. My great aunt was a nurse in the military, and she also served in the Korean War. So I just would like to thank them, and as well as everyone else, all the veterans, for their service.
Thank you, Grandpa.
I love you both, and I wouldn't be here without you guys.
Thank you, all veterans, for your service to our country.
Thanks, Uncle John, for serving.
Thank you, Grandpa.
You're doing the job that a lot of people would be afraid to do, and you're one of the bravest people in all of America.
Thank you to my grandfather and my cousins in the Marines.
Thank you for fighting for us and for our freedom.
Thank you for your service and all the sacrifices you have made.
Thank you for serving.
It means a lot, and I'll probably be there one day too.
Thank you to all veterans in general, and to my brother and my dad, my grandpa, for serving.
Thank you, veterans, for all your service. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you for your service. Thank you to my brother and my uncle for serving, and for all you other veterans out there.
Thank you to all the veterans that help us keep our freedoms.
Thank you, veterans, for serving for our country.
I thank everybody that served in the military because they gave their time and dedication to go there and protect the U.S., even if it costs their lives.
I just want to thank all the veterans and all the military people that are out there serving. I know it's hard, you don't see your family, but thank you for serving.
And to all our veterans, thank you for everything you've done for our country.
I thank my uncle and my grandpa for their service. I'd like to thank them all, of course, and my family, my Uncle Ray, my brother-in-law Ted, and of course everyone who's passed away in the line of duty.
Thank you, Grandpa.
Thank you, Dad, for your service, and thank you, all veterans, for your service to our country.
Thanks for serving and protecting us. I want to thank all my family members for serving, especially my brother Alex.
Thank you for your service, and I love and miss you.
Thanks, Dad.
I would like to thank all veterans for their service. Without you guys fighting out there, I wouldn't be able to live the life I have.
Thank you, Uncle John, for serving in the Army and protecting us.
Thank you to all the veterans who served and fought for our lives so we could be free.
Thank you for your service. We appreciate what you do.
Thank you to all veterans, including my dad and my brother.
Thank you for all that you guys have done. You're heroes.
I want to say thank you, and I appreciate your service very much.
Thanks, Dad.
Thank you for your courage.
Thank you for your bravery. Thank you for your dedication.
Thank you for everything that you do. We really appreciate it, and I don't think we'd be here today without you guys.
Thank you for everything you do for this country.
Thank you for your service.
I'd like to thank all the veterans for the freedoms and privileges that we have. Sometimes we don't think about it, but we do appreciate you guys.
Thank you for protecting us. Thank you for our freedom.
Thank you all veterans for fighting for us and keeping us free in this wonderful country.
Thank you, my grandfather, for sacrificing your life, and thank you to all the other veterans out there that sacrificed their life for me and all the other people here.
Thank you, Grandpa. I love you.
Thank you for fighting for our freedom.
Thank you, veterans.
Thank you, everyone who served. I am very proud of you guys. Very blessed.
Thanks, Mom.
I'd like to thank each and every veteran from the bottom of my heart for going out there and risking their lives just to keep us safe.
Thank you to all the veterans for risking your lives for us.
Thank you so much for defending America.
I'd like to thank my brother, my family members, and all the other veterans that have served this country. It's greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you all for what you do out there. God bless you all. Without you, America wouldn't be American. We wouldn't have the freedoms that we have.
And most importantly, I want to thank everybody for giving up everything they know at home to go away and serve and to protect everybody so we can have all of our freedoms.
Thank you for giving us our freedom.
Thank you for your commitment.
Thank you for your sacrifice. I would like to thank my sister for serving and what she does, because she inspires me a lot. And I'd like to thank everybody else who also served, because they did inspire me, and I am going to follow in my sister's footsteps.
I do have plans on serving in the Air Force.
I wanted to go into the Navy and be a pilot or do welding.
Actually, I enlisted into the Marines this year. I'd rather go big or go home, and the Marines is just the best thing that would ever go for me, I believe.
Having a military family and seeing my brother do it, and seeing the bravery and commitment that it takes to be in the military, it makes me really want to do it. I plan to take the same route as my brother did and go Air Force ROTC, and then give the Air Force my commitment in my life.